Wake up, shower, get dressed, book a cab, reach the airport, board your flight, vanish. This is probably what happened to the passengers on flight MH370. March 8th, 2014. Malaysian Airlines Flight MH370 with 227 passengers aboard vanished without a trace, leaving the world clueless. Was it an accident or a deliberate act by the pilot? The possibility of supernatural events or hijacking was also suggested in investigations surrounding the disappearance. Some even speculated involvement of government entities, suggesting a potential cover-up operation. But the real fate of MH370 is still unknown, leaving a mystery that to date, nobody knows what really happened. Except maybe the U.S. military. In the heart of the Indian Ocean sits Diego Garcia, a mysterious island with a dark and controversial past. In modern times, it is considered a crucial military base for the United States. But how is it connected to MH370? The Portuguese found it, the French inhabited it, the U.K. colonized it, but the U.S. saw what others didn't. To the United States, Diego Garcia was the perfect spot to set up a foreign military base. The island is located far away from any potential threats. It has a low native population of less than 1,000 people, and it was not sought after by other countries as it lacked any economic interest. According to Stuart Barber, a civilian working for the U.S. Navy at the Pentagon, Diego Garcia and the 60 smaller islands around it would play a key role in maintaining U.S. dominance. The idea? To obtain as many less populated islands as possible for military purposes. According to Barber, this was the only way to ensure security for a foreign base. Diego Garcia is often referred to as Fantasy Island for its seclusion. In the 1960s, the UK somehow manipulated its way into owning Diego Garcia and the islands around it. The US and the UK governments secretly planned to force the entire indigenous population of the Chagosians from their homes and off the island. The two governments agreed that a US military base would be built on Diego Garcia. The UK falsely declared that the Chagos Islands had no permanent population and over the years removed them from their homes. Today, the Chagos still fight for their rights. In the following years, a state-of-the-art facility was built that was designed to improve U.S. and British government communications in the Indian Ocean. And over the years, as the U.S. predicted, it has become one of the strongest and most strategic military bases. In 2004, U.S. Navy recruitment literature described Diego Garcia as being one of the world's best-kept secrets, boasting great recreational facilities, exquisite natural beauty, and outstanding living conditions. For years, the island's remote location and restricted access have fueled rumors of suspicious activities and classified experiments. The base is more important strategically and more secretive than the U.S. naval base cum prison at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Unlike Guantanamo, no journalist has gotten more than a glimpse of Diego Garcia in more than 30 years. And yet, it has played a key role in waging the Gulf War, the 2003 invasion of Iraq, the U.S.-led war in Afghanistan, and the current bombing campaign against the Islamic State of Syria and Iraq. Some reports also suggest that the base is a secret CIA blacksite for holding terrorist suspects and interrogating them unofficially, while many even suggest extraterrestrial-related experiments and activities taking place on the island. In 2015, U.S. Secretary of State Colin Powell's former Chief of Staff, Lawrence Wilkerson, said Diego Garcia was used by the CIA for nefarious activities. He said that he had heard from 3 U.S. intelligence sources that Diego Garcia was used as a transit site where people were temporarily housed, let us say, and interrogated from time to time. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is one of the high-value detainees suspected to have been held in Diego Garcia. Considering what you now know about Diego Garcia's significance to the U.S. military, it's evident that safeguarding its secrecy is of utmost importance to them. This raises the unsettling question: would they go to the extent of making an entire plane filled with civilians disappear? Many sources have suggested that MH370 was either captured by the United States and then flown to the United States military base, or it was shot down by them, fearing a terrorist attack on the island base, and then obviously covering it up with all their might. It was reported by the Daily Mirror that the captain had trained to land on an Indian Ocean island with a short runway using a flight simulator on his home computer. It is alleged that a person of interest was on that plane. Some sources even say compromising 226 other passengers for one person does seem a little too desperate, but definitely not surprising considering the value of the island to the U.S. Giving a new twist to the MH370 missing puzzle, a former French airline boss has claimed that the Malaysian Airlines flight was shot down by the U.S. military near Diego Garcia. In an article published on March 18, 2014, journalists Farah Ahmed and Ahmed Naif of the Maldivian newspaper Haviru wrote, "Several residents of Kudu Huvaru informed Haviru that they had observed a low-flying jumbo jet around 6:15 on March 8th. They described it as a white aircraft with red stripes, consistent with the typical appearance of Malaysia Airlines flights." The observers also pointed out the incredibly loud noise from the flight as it traversed over the island. An eyewitness stated they'd never seen a jet flying so low over their island before. They've seen seaplanes, but they were sure this was not one of them. They could even make out the doors on the plane clearly. A few months later, the discovery of debris from a Boeing 777 on a beach on Reunion Island, east of Madagascar, suspected to be from MH370, quickly led to renewed internet speculation that the plane had been shot down near Diego Garcia, which is 2,000 kilometers away from Reunion, out of fears of a terrorist attack. With this history and information at hand, a considerable number of speculators and analysts have agreed that one thing is very clear. Among all the logical explanations circulating about MH370's fate, its connection with Diego Garcia comes the closest to a possibility. The question lingers: is it truly possible for an airplane carrying 227 passengers to vanish into thin air in broad daylight without accountability? Only time, if it does, will unveil the truth. Meanwhile, the relatives and loved ones of the passengers still await answers and closure. The disappearance of MH370 and its connection to the islands remain unexplained.